Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, $2 Tuesdays over at Wagertalk.com and Sportsmemo. We're going to talk about that in a sec. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching Puck Time with the Prez. And like yesterday's show, the legend himself, Dave Koken, joining us, and Andrew McGinnis. Let's bring them in. Dave first, then Andrew. Check out the new system. Hey guys, Dave, how are you, my friend?
Good. I only played one game last night. It was Idaho, and they were plus 11, and they won by 14. A really easy win, wire to wire. So always nice to start the week off.
And Mr. McGinnis, did you continue your 7-0 run?
Yeah, so we're now 9-1 our last 10 NBA wagers. So it went pretty well. I had the Miami Heat yesterday, and that was a pretty easy winner. And yesterday, I had just one pick in the NHL. It was over in the Florida game. So that was an easy casher. It took an injury. I will say it helped to get the injury, but that's part of the game. You know, I had people tweeting at me saying, you only won that because of the injury. You know, I beg to differ. I think, you know, either way, it's still a ticket cashed. Also, I wanted to say, because it's, you know, good to talk about bad beats sometimes, I had Baylor -7 last night. If anybody was following that, they know how rough of a beat that was. 2 free throws at the end. Couldn't get it done. But, yeah, got a 5% play loaded tonight, Prez, in the NBA.
There you go, everybody. Head over to sportsmemo.com. Make sure to bet Andrew's 5% play. So here's how this is going. Tuesday shows, we will have no promotions. I mean, we still have them at the bottom of the screen. You can get my NHL season for half price, Prez 300. But we are only going to focus on the fact that it is $2 Tuesdays. At sportsmemo.com, Rob Vino is the $2 Tuesday handicapper. He's got an NBA play, and Rob has done really, really well in NBA. Literally on the season, up 58% return on investment. So anybody started with a $1,000 bankroll, it would be at $1,600 already. So congratulations to Rob Vino for his outstanding NBA start. And I, the Prez, am the $2 Tuesday over at Wagertalk. And guys, I have a 5% play tonight in NHL. If you've never purchased from us before, tonight is the night. To give you perspective, I'm on a 15-2 hockey run. 15 wins, 2 losses. I am also 14-2 in my last 16 5% plays. This is an absolute must-bet play. It's only $2 over at wagertalk.com. Koken, what does your shirt say?
I don't know.
Use your good eye.
No, I can't. I can't read.
I'm playing with you.
Okay. I just want to talk about the hockey.
I can't wait for first pitch, Dave. I need you and I every day so I can hear your cranky crabbiness.
No, it's not cranky crabbiness. We have a schedule tonight with 13 NHL games, and I'd like to be done with this before the games begin.
I love Dave Koken. Okay, boys, let's go. We're going to take a look at 4 games in depth, and then we're going to look at the remaining 9 games very quickly. The first game I want to look at is Vancouver going into Boston. And here you have a team Vancouver, and I'll go to you, Dave, first on this game. Here you have a team Vancouver at plus 175. They might be one of the hottest teams in the league. They lost in a shootout to Carolina 4-3. Before that, they won 5 in a row. They've won 7 of their last 9 games. Boston has won 3 in a row and really played outstanding defensively. 6-1 win against Minnesota, 2-1 win against Winnipeg, 3-2 against the Vegas Golden Knights. I look at this game, Dave, and, you know, my takeaway is this. I don't bet against Boston, but I can't bet on them this game. I think there's a lot of value towards the Vancouver Golden Stars. I've lost it. I think there's a lot of value on the Vancouver Canucks tonight, and I'm passing on the total. So if I bet against Boston, I would take Vancouver. So I'm not. It's a pass.
I don't necessarily agree that there's value. I think the price is about where it ought to be. The Bruins are playing really good hockey right now. So is Vancouver. But I don't yet look at Vancouver and say, well, there's a Stanley Cup contender. The Bruins are. And when they're rolling at home, this is not a team you want to get in front of. So, I mean, I think Boston wins the game. The price is too high for me to consider playing it, but I'm not really not interested.
Andrew, where are you in this one, my friend?
I don't really love anything in this game, but I would look at the over 6 here. This Boston Bruins team has looked great ever since the All-Star break. They came out. They were minus 130, around 130, 135 against the Minnesota Wild, a team that hadn't even played a game yet, and they completely dominated them. They showed that they've got their scoring touch. They've put up 6 goals on them. And this is a Bruins team that, come playoff time, come closer to the spring, they will certainly be a consistent under team. But with Vancouver Canucks right now, there's a reason why they are the second best team in the Western Conference, and it's not their defense. They have pretty good goaltending. In fact, very underrated goaltending from Demko and Markstrom. But we have to give a lot of credit to, their superstars, I guess, to bring back an old joke between me and you, Prez. And they've been scoring, flat out. And we're seeing a 6 here at around an even number of plus 100. So I would lean towards the over in this game, but can't really touch a side. I mean, I understand Dave saying that's probably where it ought to be, but I see what you're saying there, Prez, with the plus 175 with the Canucks. I mean, it's definitely a juicy number.
Yeah, and the thing for me is, Dave, I agree with you to some extent in the sense that the value just isn't enough to play Vancouver. But I think ultimately you can't take a minus 200 on a team that's playing against Vancouver right now. They're just playing too well.
Right, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I want the other side either.
Well, yeah, exactly. And what Andrew is saying, I mean, Boston is so good. It's just a game that I think everyone should pass on. The next game is the Vegas Golden Knights. They're on the road playing Tampa Bay tonight. We have a situation where Tampa Bay is minus 170, Vegas plus 150. The over and under here is 6.5. Dave, I'll go to you first. Vegas has won the last 2 games. Great performance against Nashville. 3-0, shut them down. Tampa Bay is really putting a hell of a run together right now. They've won 3 in a row. They beat San Jose 3-0, Anaheim 4-3, and they beat the LA Kings 4-2. All 3 bad hockey teams. Dave, Tampa Bay is playing their first game at home after a road trip, and a long road trip at that. I don't like to take teams in their first game at home after a long road trip. I hate to say this, but it's a pass again for me.
Well, look, I mean, Tampa's one of the teams that hasn't really had that big of a problem going home off long road trips. And the Knights they've been on the road for a long time, even with the break. They are coming off 2 absolutely terrific games at Carolina, at Nashville. The Predators, they completely dominated. And it looks like the Golden Knights have finally shed that first period issue that they were having where they were just falling behind, in every game. They're too hot right now to go against, but they don't match up well with Tampa. And that's just the way it is. I mean, Tampa's just very, very fast. And the Lightning, when they're right, are the best team in the league. It's not a game I'm going to get involved in. There's some good spots tonight, but this isn't one of them.
Yeah, and everybody listening, we're going to go through all the games. We're going to get bets in. And Andrew McGinnis, my friend, you have a thought on this one?
Tampa Bay has done really well against the Western Conference and against the Vegas Golden Knights. They've always competed. I think it's important to mention, like Dave said, that the past 2 games, the past 2 wins, the Vegas Golden Knights have put together against Carolina and Nashville. Most importantly, that Carolina game, As you know, Prez, that was a full 60-minute game. I mean, that was a lower scoring game until around the third period. And that proves to me that this team, they know they haven't really been meeting their expectations, but they have certainly kind of picked it up and realized that, it's not going to be easy against no matter who you're playing. And I also think it's very important to mention and go over one more time about the last couple of games that this Tampa Bay team, who they're playing, very against team. Anaheim's a bet against team. LA is a bet against team every day. So now they're playing a Vegas team that's a really strong team. They're heading home. You gotta say here, I think there's a good little argument here for the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're getting their act together. I think Marc-Andre Fleury was not looking like himself. He went through some personal stuff, as we all know. I really feel like, over the next few weeks, we're going to see this Vegas Golden Knights team turn it on. And Tampa Bay, I just still am not seeing some consistency out of them on a larger scale yet. So we'll see what can happen. But I'm going to take a little flyer here with the Vegas Golden Knights at this price. I really do like it. I feel like it's a good spot for them. And they, like I said, they put together 2 solid wins.
He's Andrew McGinnis from SportsMemo.com. He's got a 5% NBA play up tonight over at SportsMemo. He's on a 9-1 NBA run. Head over to SportsMemo.com. Get down on that play. And also remember, it's $2 Tuesdays over at SportsMemo and Wagertalk. I am the $2 Tuesday for tonight. I have a 5% play. If you guys have never purchased from Wagertalk.com or SportsMemo, do it today. The featured plays are only $2. New York Islanders. This is a team that is, well, I don't want to say in a free fall, but it hasn't been looking good for them of late. They're holding the final wild card spot by 1 point. They've got Toronto and Carolina nipping at the bud. Although they've got 2 to 3 games in hand. They're playing the Dallas Stars, who just had a really good win in New York last night. 5-3 victory over the Rangers. Dallas has won 2 in a row, 3 of their last 4. And here we have a situation where the Islanders are minus 125. We have a total tonight, and I'll go to you, Andrew, first, of 5. Like I don't bet against Boston, I don't bet on the unders for 5. I like this game to go over the total. Go ahead, my friend.
I'm the same as you. I don't like going under with those 5s as well. But I think we can all agree it's at that number for a reason. At first, yesterday when I was going over this card overnight, looking at this, before the Dallas Stars played their game last night, I was looking at betting on the Islanders, but. Right now, I think this is a bet-on spot for the Dallas Stars, even though, they're on the road, the second half of a back-to-back. This is a team right now where, when they're playing pretty much after a game that they've kind of went off, 6-0 in their last 6 after scoring 5 goals or more in the previous game. This is a team that you want to bet on them when they start scoring, when they got hot. Like I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong about something or kind of when I said what I said. And yesterday, I completely crapped on their scoring ability, and I pretty much said that they can't score at all, and they completely proved me wrong. It was a slap in the face to me. I said they average 2.6 goals per game, and they go ahead and light it up. So. I think a team builds off that. You see what they did yesterday, and they're not going to go ahead and shy away today. So I agree with your over bet, and I think it's a decent spot here for Dallas to keep rolling. So, the New York Islanders are going to put up a good fight, but if the Stars, can continue to score the way they just did last night and keep it going on a larger scale, they have, Bishop going off tonight, like Dave talked about yesterday, had him saved for today. This could be a great setup spot for them.
Dave Koken, where are you at in this one?
Well, look, I know Dallas put up a 5 spot last night, but a lot of that was Lundqvist, who got yanked from the game. He was not good last night for the Rangers. There were a couple of bad goals in there, and so it's not like they and the power. I think they had a couple of power play goals as well, and the Rangers sometimes on the penalty kill can be a little bit shaky. I thought that Dallas was good enough to win last night, but I'm not sure they will be here. I'd like the spot for the Islanders. I really like it early. I think the Islanders, the Islanders have been a very good first period team at home. They're plus 10 goals on the season in the first period at home. Dallas is minus 10 goals in the first period on the road. So you've got, 50 games into the season. These are trends you can look at and bet on. I would look at the Islanders' first period here.
He's Dave Koken. Guys, everybody, thank you for taking advantage of Dave's baseball offer yesterday. We're excited, man. Baseball season right around the corner. Dave Koken, Tony Finn, Brian Leonard, Dr. Chuck, and Matt Joseph over at Sportsmemo. We've got some incredible handicappers in baseball. So thanks so much for taking advantage of Dave's offer yesterday. Andrew, I mean, you want to know how good the St. Louis Blues are? This team has lost 5 of their last 6 games. 5 of their last 6 games. And they are still 5 points in front of the second best team in their conference. With that said, they've got to start putting it together. And if you've listened to Puck Time over the last couple of weeks, the Prez said, that'd be me, that St. Louis was a fade team. I think they're tired. I think they're still a fade team for another 2 or 3 weeks. They've got a nice gap. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a bye team as we enter March. But this team has to be tired. Tonight they're playing Carolina. Carolina's won 3 of their last 4 games. But they are outside the playoffs looking in. It's going to be a beautiful finish. I mean, if you look at both of these conferences, the Eastern Conference, you got Florida at 63, Columbus at 65, Philly at 65, Islanders at 64, and Carolina and Toronto at 63. And the Western Conference is no different, with a surging Chicago and Winnipeg team and a Nashville team that's only 4 out looking in. Every game is important. Carolina plus 125 here with a total of 5.5. And Andrew, I'll go to you first. I actually like the under in this game.
I could definitely see why, but when I was in Vegas, one of the main things I spoke about when I was doing my video with Kelly is that I think more than any other sport, with the NHL, you want to look at a very, very recent scale, even like 2, 3, 4 games. Whereas, you see some people that are talking about, the last 30 meetings between 2 teams where it's completely irrelevant, different teams, different lineups, different coaches. And for this Carolina team right now, over their past few games, they've scored goals and they've at least created chances. On their games where they hadn't scored too many goals, I really feel like they're creating dangerous opportunities. And for St. Louis, I'll continue to talk about them as an over team because they're always getting these 5.5 numbers. 6 of their last 9 games have gone over, 8 of their last 12 on a larger scale, and 5 straight versus the Eastern Conference. I mean, this is a game that I'm excited to bet because I really feel like it's going to be action-packed, lots of chances at both ends. And, as much as St. Louis has, like you said, a very, not comfortable, but they're sitting at the top, they have shown 0 signs of kind of taking their foot off the gas pedal. I understand what you're saying, Prez, about them being tired, and that could definitely come into an effect. But I feel like with that thought process that you have, that also means over. Being tired means sloppiness to me, mostly defensively, not scoring-wise. So I would look at the over 5.5 here at around an even number. And to be honest, I don't look to bet against the St. Louis Blues when they're at home. They're an unbelievable home team. They have a great record in general, but their home record is great. And it's not too much of a juice price here on them. So I'll look to bet this Blues team here tonight, but I'm more confident in the over.
Yeah, 17-4 at home this season. Unbelievable record. You're 100% right. Real tough to bet against St. Louis at home. Dave, what are you doing in this one?
I like Carolina in the game. The Hurricanes have got a little something going right now. Great win in the shootout. Or was it shootout or overtime? I can't remember. No, it was a shootout.
Yeah, Justin Williams with the game winner.
Tremendous. Missed the game 7. He's back. And I think the Hurricanes are going to have that momentum working for them here. The price is interesting because the price looks like it's easy to bet St. Louis in this game. They're a pretty cheap home favorite considering it's the Blues. That's always a red flag to me. The Blues are not playing great hockey right now. Every team goes through slumps. I think the Blues are in one right now. Carolina looks like the side to me in this game.
He's Dave Koken. Wagertalk.com. Thanks for watching Puck Time, everybody. We're going to take apart the remaining 9 games very quickly, and then we're going to get to the new segment that we started this week. VP Parlays. The vice president, my girlfriend, we'll talk about that later on, but we'll have parlays for you at the end of every show from here on out. Okay. Guys, couple, maybe 30 seconds each per game. We'll start with the Buffalo game, plus 155 against Colorado, a total of 6.5 in this game. Buffalo 11 out of the wild card spot. Their season is coming to an end, and Colorado really would like to get some wins here. Dave Koken, what do you like?
Avalanche would be the side I'd look at. Buffalo with issues in goal right now, and the Avalanche, I would think, have too much speed for Buffalo in this spot. Sabres have had some decent games here and there at home, but they look like a goal-against team right now.
I want to say real quick, for everybody watching this show, if you're betting hockey, make sure you're betting overnight or looking at stuff overnight for these packed cards. I know Dave does it as well. This Colorado team was minus 150, 155 last night. Now they're around the minus 180, 190 range. This is a team that you want to bet on in a bounce back situation. They lost their first game post All-Star break. They've won 4 straight games following a loss of 3 or more goals. They've also won there's 6 of their last 8 games after allowing 5 or more goals. I have them classified just like I have with Washington to bet on them after a loss. So
Washington, speaking of which, minus 244 against the LA Kings. This is one of those games from my perspective where Washington minus 1.5 or even minus 2.5 is in play. I have a predicted score of 5-1. Andrew?
Yeah, I like Washington on the puck line. Again, they're a team that you could easily bet against. Detroit, LA, Anaheim, some of these teams. Puck line. We've got great teams playing against them, but they're one of those teams, Washington, where they're not going to take their foot off the gas pedal at all. If they can beat a team 10-0, they will do so. Those players, I don't believe, have any remorse and really no mercy. I think they're the number 1 team in the league that really couldn't care less. About showing any respect if they had a huge lead at all. Personally, tonight, I'm on a bet right now. Alexander Ovechkin over 1.5 points plus 150. I just kind of wanted to toss that out there right now. He's on a huge streak right now. He's doing pretty well.
Dave?
And it's a good bet.
I have to disagree a little bit. I don't want the Kings, but the Capitals all season long to me have shown that they come in against really weak teams very flat. And I would not be surprised if that's the case tonight. So they might have some trouble with the Kings for a while. They'll eventually beat them because the Kings can't play. But I wouldn't be real enthused about laying a goal.
Guys, it's $2 Tuesdays over at Wagertalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Please, if you've never purchased from us before, today is the day. Our feature play, I have a 5% play in NHL tonight. It's only $2, literally $1.99 plus a penny. And Rob Vino over at Sports Memo. Dave, Minnesota minus 125 against Chicago, and a real tough to play against Chicago right now. This team is surging. I think they're the play tonight.
Yep. No disagreement on that one. The Blackhawks are flying. They're getting really good goaltending between Crawford and Leonard. Minnesota is not getting good goaltending, and the Wild, they had that nice run where they had points in about 15 out of 16 games or something like that. But they're not a very good hockey team. I would go with the hot hand, and I don't think it's a bad play on value
Andrew?
in Chicago.
Yeah, that's the biggest key for this success for the Chicago Blackhawks is the goaltending. They've only allowed more than 2 goals two times
twice,
in the last
Andrew,
10 games.
Twice.
So
we speak English on this show.
Twice. Yes. Their defense has been great. And goal scoring is going to come from this team. They have a great top 6, but it's what separates it from me, like I said, is the goaltending. I want to bring up real quick, Dave, a question for you. First of all, hats off for that, plus a half goal first period, or even yesterday. but the plus half would still be a good plus price. Is that something you'd look to do for other bad teams, or is that more so just the Red Wings you found that with them?
No, it was just a aberrational stat on the Red Wings. But what it indicates, better teams often take the real stiffs they're playing for granted. And teams are going to do that with Detroit. So the Red Wings have a chance early in games to stick around, and then reality sets in at some point, and the Red Wings can't play a lick, and they get beat. By the way, one other comment on the Blackhawks Wild. One big advantage, if the game, and look, I'm not saying the game's going to get to a shootout, but if it does get to a shootout, you got a big edge with Chicago. I know Lehner's had his problems in the shootouts, but you get Kane and Taves in a shootout for the Blackhawks. You don't want to be on the other side of those two guys.
Boys, I think the game of the night as far as importance goes for the two teams playing, Winnipeg hosting Nashville, 1 point apart right there at the wild card spot. Winnipeg finds themselves at plus 110, the over and under 6.5 here. And, you know, Andrew, the bottom line for me is I think a tie is really a strong bet here. It's close to plus 300, and I could just see this game being 2-2, 3-3.
I don't really bet those personally, but I like it, and it's definitely the game on the card. If I was going to bet a draw, I'd probably bet that one. I think there's been a pretty good rivalry between these two teams, and they've met a few times, whether it's fighting for a good spot in the playoffs or whether it's been in the playoffs. The difference is right now, can the Winnipeg Jets continue to beat good teams, or are they going to only beat poor teams? They beat the St. Louis Blues in dominant fashion. Will they continue to beat other good teams? And, you know, this is me calling the Nashville Predators a good team, but we don't even know if they really are a good team yet. But to be quite frank, Prez, this is a game that I'm looking forward to watching as a fan. I don't really have a betting take on it.
I see a Kapanen Nylander trade for Yoshi. Okay, enough, Lawrence.
Right.
Enough. I just saw an Eklund trade for Nylander. Okay. Stop with the Leafs, Lawrence. Move on. Dave, what do you like in this game?
I don't want Nashville. They're not they're a bad team, okay? The Predators are not going to be in the playoffs. Their goaltending is sketchy. You know, they've got a couple of outstanding guys, but the roster is just not real good at this point. And I think they're going to sell at the deadline, to be honest with you.
Yossi to the Leafs?
No, he's not getting traded.
No, he's the best. He's the best defenseman in hockey.
He's a tremendous player. But
Matt Duchene is a cancer to the locker room. Everywhere he goes, everywhere he's been, the team has not gotten better. It's gotten worse.
Okay, well, we'll take him too. So Dave, you don't want to play Nashville, but it doesn't sound like you want to really play anything in this game.
This is the first game I scratched off the schedule.
Calgary minus 185 against San Jose with a total of 6. And I'll just be real quick here. I like the over in this hockey game. I think we're going to get 4 from Calgary. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 4-3 game, Dave.
I think you can stick a fork in San Jose, and you would think that the Flames will come out really aggravated after that disaster against Edmonton over the weekend. I'm not getting in the Flames' way in this game.
Mr. McGinnis.
I don't think I've ever seen what's happened this year to the San Jose Sharks regarding injuries or defensive mishaps in any other team I've ever watched in my whole life. I don't think I've ever seen a team kind of go down so much. This is a team that I do not want to bet on. I'm going to be betting against this team a lot whenever I get a pretty good price. First of all, it was their goaltending. Then it was their lack of scoring. Then pretty much any certified went down or had a scoring slump. It's a sad story if you're a San Jose Sharks fan right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, in Prez's defense, the over is always live with the Sharks team because they give up so many goals.
Yeah.
That's just the fact. But, you know, Calgary's giving up goals as well. So, you know, I can't argue with the over, but I definitely like this Flames team. I would definitely go as far as even laying them on the puck line.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I agree. Boys, talk about a sad state of affairs. Arizona. My God, Dave, this team has lost 5 in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 9 games. lucky for them, they've been able to sort of, from a standings perspective, weather the storm. They're holding the final wild card spot by 3 points, but they've really got to right this ship, and they've got a Edmonton team coming in. Edmonton, man, they looked really good against Calgary. They've also won 4 of their last 5 games, and they've won 7 of their last 9. I don't want to play against Edmonton tonight. I'm just going to outright stay away from this game.
I think the Coyotes will start fast in this game because they've got a sense of urgency and look, the Edmonton-Calgary thing, 2 of the last 3 games, absolute wars between those teams. I think this is a bit of a tricky spot for Edmonton going on the road off that crazy win at Calgary, and I like the Coyotes early in this game. First period play on Arizona looks like a decent bet to me.
Okay, boys, it's the VP time. So everybody knows, in case you missed yesterday's show, my girlfriend Vivian is going to be doing a segment from here on in. Sometimes she'll even appear on the show. It's the Vivian Parlay section of the show, and also VP stands for Vice President. So before I get into it, I've got 2 parlays for you all. I just want to let you know that she's been absolutely rolling in parlays. She's been hitting one a night for about 10 or 11 straight nights, and she usually only bets 2. She lost last night. We gave out a 3-team parlay. We won 2 of the 3, but the under in the Dallas game ruined the parlay. And for the record, she did not take it well. I don't think this segment is going to be wonderful for my sex life. Just throwing that out there. She was a mess. Andrew and Dave, and especially Dave, I mean, you've been doing this for like 40 years. Any advice I can give Vivian on not wearing these losers so badly that she's in bed and asleep by 11?
No, $10 bet.
Okay, well, fair enough.
They are.
Okay, boys, let's go. Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
I got advice. I would say learn from the mistake you made in the loss.
Yeah, great advice. Just, if it was only that easy, huh, Dave?
No, I didn't mean that as a sarcastic comment, by the way. If you go into a casino, the people who make the most noise are the people who are, they're betting $5 on a hand of blackjack. Smaller bettors take it way more seriously. Than
I wouldn't say take it more seriously. Take it harder.
Yes. Okay.
They definitely don't take it more seriously. And I mean, you and I, Dave, are so weathered, right? I mean,
you're right.
It's funny because, let's say you lose, 10 days in a row or something. Yeah, that's the equivalent of like a pimple for us. I mean, literally, it's like a nothing. We've just been beat around the bend. We've been doing this for so many years. We've had our runs. We've had our slumps. I take my 5% losses really bad. Tonight, I got a 5% play, and I'm telling you flat out, I am going to freak out from the start to the end of that game. Okay, boys. Here's the parlay for today. 2 of them. $10 pays 85. The over in the Colorado-Buffalo game. Boston, minus 200. The New York Islanders, minus 120. And Tampa Bay, minus 170 for the squarest parlay ever. And a 3-team parlay, $10 pays 63. The under in the Nashville game. Colorado Avalanche and the Chicago Blackhawks. That is the parlay. And speaking of which, I just realized we forgot a game. Andrew, New Jersey against Montreal. Who do you like?
I also didn't get to get my lick in on the Arizona Coyotes, so I wanted to really quickly say that most of the time, I'm the kind of guy that talks about depth of scoring and how important that is for any team. But for this team in particular, with the Arizona Coyotes, a lot of it has to rely on Taylor Hall. And when I say rely on it, I mean we have to see more from him. It's not like hockey isn't like basketball where you can have, one player drop 40 points, but you have to have your guy that you traded for, a former MVP, doing better than what he's doing. I think this is one of the bigger games of the year for the Arizona Coyotes. And I'm not really a hype kind of guy. I don't really say that stuff ever. But I truly feel like if they, to quote Dave, that you really need to have a good start. I like the first period over if I like any bet in this game. We need to see scoring chances. We need to see speed right out the gate. And Edmonton has proved to us they can also play that style as well. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you asked about the Montreal Canadiens game. That's a complete pass for me. Some might argue it's a decent spot for either team, but I would look at here maybe betting the over. I liked it over 5.5 overnight. I got on it. Now it's at 6 all around every shop. There's been some flus going around the locker room. We've got Carey Price out. We have Caden Primo called up from the AHL Laval Rocket. We know that New Jersey is I think, long-term going to be an over team. They have so much talent up front. The question is, can we see a good goaltending performance out of them or not? You never really know on a night-in, night-out basis. Something always tells me, though, I think it's important to mention, it seems to me that, Subban, whenever he plays his former team, his team just shows up. I don't know if that's on purpose or that's just the way it works out. I would look to the over 6 still, but I love
this just in. Kapanen traded to New Jersey for Subban. Okay, enough. Stop it, Lawrence.
That's the best one yet.
Dave, what do you like in this game?
Not Montreal. Price is sitting it out, and that's obviously big. And the Devils have already beaten them twice this season. I think the Devils.
He's Dave Koken, Wagertalk.com. I'm the Prez, same website, and Andrew McGinnis from SportsMemo.com. It's $2 Tuesdays, everybody. Make sure to go over to SportsMemo, buy Rob Vino's NBA play, then head to Wagertalk, buy my 5% NHL play. Tomorrow's show, Andrew McGinnis and Buster Sports. And Thursday, we're going to be reaching out to Dr. Chuck. He's over at SportsMemo.com, one of the best NBA and baseball handicappers around, and he has been rolling in hockey. He's up close to 70% return on investment in hockey. I haven't fully looked, but I think he's beating all of us. I think he's beating myself, Carmine, Andrew, Dave, Alex, and Buster in hockey return on investment this year, so I'm hoping he'll make an appearance. Gentlemen, outstanding show. Thanks so much to all of you for joining. And Dave, we got this done before the first game started.
There we go.
Later, everyone.